Hi my friends, the film today is really lovely, gorgeous. It begins with the 12 princesses living in a nice life in their room. When the king's counselor enters, he notices an odd hole in the princess's shoes. And this isn't the first time this has happened. And we see that Princess Eleanor's shoes are the only ones without a hole. The king is then shown to be furious and yelling loudly because he believes that his daughters are keeping a secret from him, but he is unable to discover what it is. He is also shown to be sitting in sadness for the death of his wife, who passed away a few days ago, as well as talking to his counselor and telling him that it is imperative that they discover this daughter's secret. However, the evil counselor informs the king that his daughters are unloving him, which make the king even more enraged. He then gathers his daughters once more and tries to ask them why their shoes pierced, such as in settling manner, and one of the girls informs him that perhaps that is the mouse ate the shoe, but the king scolds her severely for lying. Then we see John, a bigger and an apathic young man, which he is in the forest with an elderly woman and tries to assist her, but she does not give in to John's requests. The elderly woman is shocked to see a strange ring with him and is informed that it is the only item his parents left before they took him to the shelter, and they are shocked to see King's consoler leaping off the castle wall in an attempting to end his life. After that, he carries the elderly woman and delivers her to the market for nothing. Then we witness the king giving the order to mend the princess's shoes. Then the king asks his consoler to hire someone to find out the princess's secret, and the princesses are extremely shocked and beg their father not to do so, because anyone who comes to watch them dies after 3 days, because he did not discover the secret. Then we witness John once more performing a puppet play to earn some money, and after seeing him, the counselor realizes that he is a great fit for the new mission. He approaches him, tries to win him over with money, and says that if you succeed in your mission, you will marry the king's daughter and become the next king. But the elderly woman informs him that if you fail the mission, they'll execute you after 3 days. And John replies he doesn't want to live in this terrifying castle or marry a woman he doesn't love. Then we witness the king punishing every princess and puts them in prison. The princesses also create black fabrics to lament their mother's passing and display them on the walls. Meanwhile, Princess Eleanor meets John by coincidence and finds herself drawn to him strongly. Additionally, John loves her. After meeting her, John chooses to take on the mission to meet her, even though doing so could result in his death. Then the elderly woman gives him a black robe and tells him that you will disappear while wearing it. She also advises him not to drink the wine that the girls will give him. Then as he enters the castle and begins his life, the princesses see him tidying up his room. They pour him a glass of wine and put a hypnotic in it. Princess Eleanor enters to him and gives him the wine, but John remembers the old woman's words and throws the cup away when the princess doesn't pay attention. He also claims to have slept deeply. When the Princess Eleanor leaves, John instantly wakes up, puts on a black robe, and goes to the princess's room. He is startled to see a bright light coming from their mirror, so he enters into the light source and finds himself in a completely white area and frightening. The princesses run around, having a great time, and appear to be waiting for someone. John keeps watching them, but regrettably, his black robe clings on the tree's branch, forcing him to leave the area before the princesses noticing him. John goes back to his room. The next morning, the king's consoler wakes him up and informs him that he only has 2 days left to find the secret. We hear the king scream loudly, realizing that John was still asleep and hadn't figured out the princess's secret. The sound of the king's scream reaches all of the residents, who are greatly alarmed by this loud voice. We also see John carrying the strangely shaped branch that was left in his robe. Even though John is still on his first day of the mission, he is shocked to learn that the king has ordered the preparation of the execution stage for him. Princess Eleanor tries to console him because he will die because of them, and she is very sad. But John looks into her eyes and admires her beauty, and he doesn't care about anything else. We then see the princesses laughing heartily and says that Eleanor loves John, but Eleanor screams at them all, and we see their father watching them from above, looking very sad. He then goes back to his depressed room and looks at the picture of his wife. Then we see the king talking a little bit with John, and we see that he likes him and he likes his talk. Then he's speaking with his counselor, informing him that although John enjoys himself and sleeps a lot, there is a chance that this time one of them will find out the princess's secret, which makes the counselor very angry because he wants John to fail, and he takes the kingdom and the princesses. Then he tries to agitate the king with his words so that the king will execute John earlier than planned, but the king refuses. The following night, we watch Eleanor offer John the drink, but he throws it away without her paying attention and claims he's fallen asleep. Eleanor looks at John sadly, thinking he will lose his life. However, she goes back to her sisters and they begin their rituals, holding hands and entering the mirror. John watches them and follows them right away, seeing them move and dance, but he is shocked to see that 11 young princes appear as ghosts, and that princesses enter this world to meet princes, dance with them, and make love. The princesses have boarded a boat and left. John breaks a new branch and returns to his room. The counselor wakes him up the following day and informs him that he stayed with him for just one day. The princesses feel bad for John because they think he will die because of them and want to help him, but the Princess Eleanor rejects and tells them that this should stay a secret between us, because if John could betray us, he would do it. Eventually, they decide that it is impossible to give up seeing their princess and making love, and that if their father finds out, he will punish them a lot and keep them from seeing their princess, and so that they fail to assist John. But one of the princesses proposed that Eleanor marry John in order to complete the number and bring all the princesses back to our world. But Eleanor refuses, and she says love is more important than marriage, and she will not marry someone she doesn't love. On the last night, Eleanor offers John a drink, but she is so depressed that she grips the cup tightly to prevent John from taking it. But John takes the cup from her and she goes back to her sisters. But she comes back again to say goodbye to John because he will pass away the next morning. And they enter their white world where all the princesses dance with the princes, with the exception of Eleanor, who stays alone. And we know that this is the reason for the hole in their shoes. But we are surprised to see that Eleanor starts dancing by herself. Here, we see John dancing with her while wearing an undercover guise. The following morning, the king asks John if he has figured out the princess's secret, but John chooses not to respond because he wants the princesses to be happy. But he asks the king to ask the princesses if they want to admit anything, but the princesses remain silent. John gives the king the branches he brought from the white world. The princesses are very shocked. John tells the king that he knows everything, but he won't talk about it. The king is happy that John knows the secret, even though he won't tell him. This is enough now. And he offers to choose one of the princesses, but John says he will only marry for love and declares that he doesn't want the king's throne. He then tells Eleanor that her dance with him yesterday was very amazing. Then he leaves. After that, the princesses persuade Eleanor to confess her love for him. Indeed, Eleanor goes to him and tells him that she loves him, and all of the ghost princes appear since John completes the group, and all of the king's daughters marrying princes after John marries Eleanor. They all lead happy, fulfilling lives, and that's where the movie ends. Please press like and subscribe to the channel to get new movie recaps. Miss Bombastic was with you. Goodbye, my friends, with my love.